2024 is going to be a bigger gaming year than you might think, with finally the release of long-awaited titles, games from huge popular franchises, major open-world RPGs, we get brand new hardware and some potential surprise hits. Now let me know what you're looking forward to in the comments down below, leave a like, that would help me out if you are excited about 2024, subscribe for coverage on these games, and let's go. Star Wars Outlaws will likely be one of the biggest 2024 releases, a real open-world Star Wars game where we can jump on a speeder bike and explore at least 4 different planets that have the size of multiple Assassin's Creed Odyssey zones. Seeing the gameplay where main character Kay Vess stops in one of the villages with the speeder bikes still passing by really gave me that still rare, wow, this is a next-gen game feel. But next to the graphics and satisfying looking combat, there's also a faction system where you gain or lose favor with factions depending on if you were spotted during an infiltration. There's a wanted system where the Empire can come after you and you can then get rid of them in space combat. It looks super promising and is likely coming our way in the second half of 2024. The first major release of 2024, however, will be the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the first big game from Rocksteady in almost 9 years. I really hope it surprises us, even though the trailers so far are not that convincing. The premise is cool though. Brainiac has invaded Metropolis, taking control over the Justice League, and now we have to take them out as one of the 4 Suicide Squad members. Like, I hope that it will be possible to just enjoy and follow the story without having to grind for a new legendary minigun for King Shark or something like that. We at least know that there will be an offline mode coming to the game, but it will be after launch, so you could wait for that. Like, it will be supported for a long time after launch with new characters as well, which could totally be exciting. It will be fascinating to see how this game does. I will totally be giving it a shot. A game I already got to play is Black Myth Wukong. We got an official date, August 20th, 2024, and to say that I can't wait is an understatement. Because it really feels as good to play as it looks. Even though Wukong is often smaller than the many bosses he will fight, you will still feel really powerful thanks to his strong abilities and agile moves. And chaining them together will be the key to success against the bosses that also have very impressive attacks and multiple stages that can completely change the fight. Now, next to the one-on-one encounters, there will also be open spaces to explore, gear to collect. There seems to be a lot here, and it will totally end up being something special if the whole game is as good as what I played. I am convinced though, like 99% sure, that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will be amazing. Like, I even think that if you don't care for Final Fantasy in general or have skipped the first part of the remake, that this might still be worth the look. It's namely going to be a massive open world RPG this time instead of a more linear adventure with a 40-hour main story or 100 hours if you want to do everything. And if that first part of the remake is any indication, then it will likely all be quality content. So expect more open zones compared to that first game with different ways to traverse it. Combat should have way more depth, as we now also have multiple playable characters and actually have to pick who we want to have in our party. The graphics look amazing, with this of course being a full-on PS5 exclusive. I love this series, especially the Final Fantasy VII universe, so I really can't wait to experience this. But the open world game, or like game in general, that I'm looking forward to the most in 2024 is of course Assassin's Creed Red. We still only have this small trailer teasing the ancient Japan setting, with a proper reveal probably planned in the first half of 2024, I'm guessing end of April or May, with then a launch probably in October or November. This is the next title from the Assassin's Creed Odyssey makers, so expect a huge open world RPG, 100 hours plus, but this time we can switch between 2 characters according to reliable rumors. One of them will be a female, more stealth focused character, and there will also be a male samurai, so think of Evie and Jacob from Syndicate. Both have unique tools though and a unique skill tree, so should play quite different. This is also the first Assassin's Creed that will not launch on PS4 and Xbox One, so should mean a nice graphical jump. They will introduce Assassin's Creed Infinity, a platform for Assassin's Creed where the modern day story will be told, and Ubisoft is planning to support the game for more than 2 years after its release, and I can't wait to be along on that ride. But before that, we still got some other big open world games. There are actually 2 that will launch on the same day, and I still have not decided which I will play first. So Dragon's Dogma 2 seems to take all the learnings from the already great first game and expand on it with cool new class combinations, new interactions for our AI controlled party members, larger skill battles. I really think this game will do super well. And on the other hand, we have Rise of the Ronin that just looks like a more fleshed out Neo with an open world to explore and a really cool late 19th century Japanese setting. Meaning meaning we can use a katana, but also guns. The difficulty should still be comparable to, say, From Software though, so don't expect something similar to Ghost of Tsushima. So it will not be for everyone, but Sony did actually help make Rise of the Ronin, and they are publishing it as well as one of the big PS5 exclusives that they got for 2024. But still, it overall feels like a major AAA PlayStation Studios release is missing. We kick off the year though with The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered for PS5. That is a $10 upgrade if you already own the PS4 version. So you can do that to still play the new roguelite mode, No Return, which I'm totally curious about. Helldivers 2 will launch next. I'm personally not that hyped about it, but I hope it finds an audience, because it is a really unique co-op experience. We know about the action game Stellar Blade that was supposed to launch in 2023, so you would think it now releases in 2024, right? We play Eve, who has been sent back to Earth after humanity was forced to flee it, which a pretty cool setup and a good reason to hack and slash our way through the alien invaders with the fast-paced combat. And we also know about Concord, a space PvP shooter that we only got this brief teaser of. This is the only PlayStation Studios game, by the way, that we know of in 2024. But there might be some surprises that we don't know about yet to fill out that PS5 exclusive lineup. Like maybe Death Stranding 2 is 2024 after all, even though it skipped the Game Awards. I can also see the Atreus spin-off game at the end of 2024. The Valhalla DLC really felt like half of the story, with the Atreus game likely being a paid expansion, probably around the same size as Miles Morales, so much bigger than Valhalla. Still though, we had both God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West in 2022, Spider-Man 2 in 2023. It really seems that 2024 will miss a big title like that on PlayStation 5. Now Xbox does at least have two heavy hitters from their own internal studios. Hellblade 2 should be the big headliner. The new trailer totally looked more appealing than what we had seen before. Visually, of course, amazing. Now I personally hope for more depth in the combat and more fun puzzles compared to the original, but I will totally give it a shot. Same for Avowed, the new fantasy open world game set in the same universe as Pillars of Eternity. Knowing Obsidian, this will totally be great, although it does seem smaller than, say, an Elder Scrolls title, as there's no open world but several large spaces to explore instead. 2024 will also be the first year that Microsoft fully owns Activision Blizzard. We already know that at one point in 2024 those games will be dropping on Game Pass, probably including big recent releases like Diablo 4 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, with maybe even the full-fledged Call of Duty for the end of 2024 launching on Game Pass day one, while of course still launching on other platforms as well. The name should be Call of Duty Gulf War, so set during that war that started in 1990 till 1991 with a focus on the CIA, made by Treyarch, and they had 4 years of development time, which is unheard of for a Call of Duty game. We will of course have to wait and see how this pans out. But that is not all. Microsoft also has third-party deals for Game Pass, for Stalker 2 for example. I played the game at Gamescom and I was not impressed at all. It really felt like a game from 10 years ago, but I hope the full version is better. Replaced deserves a shout out, a really cool looking 2.5D action platformer, and 33 Immortals is also coming to Game Pass day one, a co-op action roguelike for 33 players. I really like the art style, although it will probably be quite chaotic. There are also third-party titles planned, so these will come to PlayStation as well, but also day one on Game Pass, with Ark 2 totally being the headliner, although I can see the sequel easily being pushed to 2025. And I still think the open-world single-player RPG Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, looks pretty awesome. It's now planned for summer 2024, and again, day one on Game Pass. Now there are more third-party games that I quickly want to touch on. I will do that in a second, because 2024 will also be the year that we see new hardware. Very substantial rumors have hinted at the fact that the PlayStation 5 Pro is planned for September 2024. Could totally be later, as the PS5 Slim was also first rumored for September, but of course launched in November. Still, it will launch in 2024, and it should put a bigger focus on ray tracing versus what is possible on the current PS5, where it's not really utilized in many games. Of course, a 4K resolution with 60 FPS or higher should be possible in more cases. With Sony's own DLSS is potentially helping with that. Like, this technology is right now used on PC to generate way higher frame rates even on low-end machines. And it seems that Nintendo will also use their version of this technology for the Switch too, because yes, we are entering the final year of the Switch in 2024, with the successor expected at the end of the year. No real substantial rumors on what the gimmick will be this time. Right now it does seem to be similar to the hybrid nature of the Switch though, with the power closer to the PS4 and Xbox One. But yeah, Nintendo is known for having a killer launch title, so high chance that will be in the Game of the Year conversation for 2024 as well. Maybe it's a 3D Mario or a new Mario Kart. There were also leaks about an all-digital Xbox Series X that would replace the current model, but those plans might have changed. So right now it seems that we should not expect any big Xbox hardware in 2024. Again, there are still many 2024 titles I did not mention, like I did not talk about Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 yet, coming September 9th, 2024, which actually the latest hard release date that we got. But yeah, expect a bloody hack and slash shoot fest with pretty great graphics as shown in the recent gameplay, and there's co-op with up to 3 players this time. Greedfall 2 is also something I'm curious about. The first game was a surprisingly great single player action RPG, so having the developers expand on that could be great. Earlier in the year we get a brand new IP, Banishers Ghost of New Eden, an action RPG that is focused a lot on choices that will impact the story and the very interesting looking world around us. But we also get another Don't Not game that will be more like Life is Strange, called Lost Records, about high school kids finding something and then coming together after 27 years to finally talk about it. I love the style, I really hope it's good. Persona is all about style, and the remake of 3 is dropping early in the year, and Atlas is also making a brand new IP, Metaphor ReFantasio, so from the makers of Persona 3, 4 and 5, but now in a medieval fantasy world. The recent trailer totally got me more interested. I saw Little Nightmares 3 at Gamescom and it looks really solid in terms of art direction and gameplay, but it will be more like It Takes Two, so a big focus on co-op this time. Hades 2 will launch in early access in 2024, and I'm sure people are looking forward to Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, already dropping in January. On the same day we get Tekken 8, by the way, that is getting a ton of positive buzz from the demo that is happening right now. And I also want to touch on big unannounced games that have a high chance of launching in 2024. The new Dragon Age called Dreadwolf, set after the events of Inquisition, I think is almost like guaranteed for 2024. BioWare is namely doing a full reveal of the game in summer 2024, and we recently got a trailer that showed multiple locations we can explore. The game will seemingly have a more action-focused combat again. I'm really curious. I'm holding my fingers crossed for Wonder Woman in 2024. Would be 7 years after Shadow of War, the most recent game from these developers. And I'm curious if the Splinter Cell remake is also planned for 2024. Like, that would be 3 years of development time, and I don't think you want to spend much longer on a remake like that. Speaking of Ubisoft, they got 2 titles at the start of the year. I think Prince of Persia will surprise people, probably ends like at the high 80s on Metacritic, but I do worry that it won't sell very well, because I don't think this is the type of game that the Prince of Persia fans want. Skull and Bones will finally release. I really believe they're doing it this time, but yeah, the before mentioned Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Red will of course be the big hitters for Ubisoft in 2024. X-Defiant might be a surprise hit though, as every beta has been pretty successful for them as the free-to-play answer to Call of Duty. Should be out early in the year, and then later on Division Heartland, the more survival free-to-play Division game, will finally release. Ubisoft has more free titles, with the biggest one, although it's mostly made by Tencent, being Assassin's Creed Jade. Like, I really hope this turns out well. It will at least be fun to do the co-op content, I think, and the story, as it's basically Odyssey but on your phone. Ubisoft will also launch Rainbow Six Siege for mobile and the Division Resurgence for mobile, so a pretty big year for them overall. But there are more free games, and I think that if they turn out well, these could be really big. Zenless Zone Zero from the Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail makers, Hoyoverse. It's basically the same type of game, but with a more action type combat, and I can see Blue Protocol also blowing up as a more MMO type game that seems really promising. And a game that might surprise everyone is a new open world Outriders Remnant type experience called Once Human. It has been getting a ton of positive buzz recently, so I think it will be worth keeping an eye on that one, with Nightingale from the many ex-BioWare makers also having the potential to be a surprise hit. It's launching in early access in February. Again, let me know what you're looking forward to in the comments down below. I'm sure that I missed some games. Many will still, of course, be announced in 2024 as well, and I will discuss those in my yearly big games that will be announced video. So subscribe to not miss it if you haven't already. If it's already up, then you can watch it by clicking on the screen. A like would really help me out, and happy end of the year or happy 2024 depending on when you watch this, and I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.